You're wandering the misty forest of Falkreath in Skyrim for the very first time. Through the dense foliage, you stumble upon a small, unassuming cabin. There's a modest vegetable garden out front, and an elderly woman quietly tending to her herbs. It all seems perfectly harmless, but as any true adventurer knows, in Skyrim, things are rarely what they seem. What if I told you this seemingly innocent cabin holds a secret darker than many of the ruins scattered across Tamriel? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of Anise's Cabin, uncovering the secrets of a lonely old woman whose story is far more sinister than it seems. By the end of this video, you may never look at this cabin the same way again. At first glance, Anise appears to be nothing more than a frail, elderly woman living in isolation, tucked away in this tiny, dilapidated shack. When you first approach her, she greets you with a simple story. She's old, poor, and just wants to live out her remaining days in peace, away from the chaos of the outside world.
It's tough just scraping by out here, but I make do. I get so lonely out here.
A seemingly straightforward tale, and in the harsh land of Skyrim, it makes sense. Many people simply try to survive in these unforgiving wilds. However, the moment you step foot inside her cabin, things start to feel off. The cabin itself is a little more than a shabby shed, its entrance gaping wide open without even a proper front door to shield it from the elements. The cabin is in a state of notable disrepair. Just to the right as you enter, a tall, worn cupboard holds an assortment of curious items: an empty petty soul gem, Hagraven feathers, a deathbell flower, a purple mountain flower, and a sprig of snowberries. At the foot of the bed is a small unit that holds the alchemy skill book, Song of the Alchemist, with an apothecary's satchel beside it containing rare ingredients. Leaning against the unit is a longbow, and under the head of the bed is a small coin purse, tucked away for safekeeping. At first, it seems harmless enough. Perhaps she's just a reclusive old woman who dabbles in potion making. But the deeper you dig, the more you realize there's much more to Anise than meets the eye. If you explore her cabin thoroughly, you'll discover a hidden trapdoor in the corner, easily overlooked at first glance. It's concealed beneath the novice locked hatch, partially obscured by a dresser. As you descend into the cellar, a palpable sense of dread fills the air. The flickering candlelight casts long, ominous shadows over the clutter of arcane tools and twisted ingredients. On the shelves, you spot two particular vials, a weak poison and a potent paralysis poison. Finally, you happen upon a letter addressed to someone named Helgi. Anise writes, "Helgi, dear, why do you hesitate? You can feel the power coursing in your blood. You only have to reach out and grasp it. Renounce that boy of yours and come live with me in the forest. My sister will be here soon. Together we can form a proper coven, and your training will truly begin." Anise isn't just a reclusive hermit. She's connected to something far more sinister. The letter hints at her involvement in a secret coven of witches, and it seems she's actively trying to lure others into the shadowy world of dark magic. So, who is Anise really? As we delve deeper into her story, it's clear that her connection to a coven of witches is no coincidence. The cryptic letter in her cellar reveals her involvement in dark magic, but it goes further. She's actively seeking to expand her influence. The remote cabin and solitary lifestyle? Merely a facade. hiding her true intentions as she patiently waits for her sister and others to join her in their quest for magical power. Whether this sister is bound by blood or part of a coven remains unclear for now. But the letter to Helgi raises even more questions. Some believe Helgi may be connected to the ghost child in Morthal, though the evidence is thin. What is undeniable is that Anise was trying to recruit someone younger into her circle, manipulating them into embracing their magical potential. It's a twisted form of mentorship, rooted in dark intentions. Then there is her violent response when you enter her cellar. Anise doesn't just attack you out of surprise. She's guarding something far more dangerous than simple clutter. Her reaction implies she's hiding powerful, forbidden magic that she fears could be exposed. Perhaps she fears retribution from the vigilance of Stendarr, or something far darker if her secret comes to light. Anise's true story leaves room for a lot of speculation. Was she once a part of a larger coven that disbanded, and now she's trying to rebuild? Could she have ties to some of the darker magical factions in Tamriel, like the Glenmoral Witches, or even the Hagravens? And why is she alone? The letter hints at a plan for her sister to join her, but we never see this sister or any of her coven members. Was the plan foiled? Did something happen to them before the Dragonborn arrived? There are so many layers of mystery surrounding Anise that we may never fully understand, which only adds to the intrigue. Here's where some intriguing fan theories come in. Many players believe that Helgi from the letter isn't the ghost child from Morthal, but actually Hilda from Riverwood, Sven's mother. According to this theory, Sven is the boy mentioned in the letter, and it suggests that Anise could have been trying to pull Hilda into her coven. Another theory speculates that Helgi may have lived in Helgen before its destruction, adding further mystery to her identity. Theories abound as to why Anise is alone in the cabin and what became of the rest of her coven. Was it destroyed, or is she simply waiting for her sister and Helgi to join her? The layers of mystery surrounding Anise only deepen the more you explore, making this cabin one of Skyrim's most unsettling locations. One theory ties Anise directly to the Hagravens, the half-human, half-harpy witches of Skyrim. If you kill Anise, you might receive a letter from a Hagraven named Moira, ordering your death. Moira claims she wants revenge, which hints at a deeper connection between her and Anise. This letter implies that Anise may have been more involved with the Hagraven covens than it first appears. Moira herself is a Hagraven who you can encounter during the A Night to Remember quest. You can find out more about her in my video on Nightshade. The fact that Moira sends hired thugs after you when you kill Anise suggests that Anise could have been aligned with the Hagraven faction, possibly even under Moira's influence. It raises the question, was Anise trying to form her own coven, or was she already a part of an existing one under Moira's leadership? This connection hints that Anise wasn't just a solitary witch, but perhaps an important figure within a larger, more dangerous circle of witches and Hagravens. Her collection of dangerous ingredients and hidden practices in the cellar could also suggest that she was in the early stages of transforming into one of these twisted creatures, or perhaps already bound to them in some way. The connections between Anise, Moira, and the Hagravens leave us with even more unanswered questions. And what other dark secrets might be lurking in Skyrim's wilderness, waiting to be uncovered? I believe that Anise was more than just a simple witch living in isolation. There's more than enough evidence to suggest that she was aspiring to become a Hagraven or something closely related to one. Now, here's where my theory comes in. The hidden cellar beneath her cabin, stocked with dangerous ingredients and magical artifacts, seems like a preparation site, potentially a base of operations for establishing a new coven. Perhaps she wanted to create a new circle of witches under her leadership, with the ultimate goal of transforming into a Hagraven. The connection to Moira, the Hagraven who seeks revenge on the Dragonborn if Anise is killed, strengthens this theory. It suggests that Anise wasn't working alone, but was involved in something much darker, possibly even under the influence of Hagravens. So in my view, Anise's remote cabin wasn't just a hideaway. It was the first step in a much larger plan to dive deeper into forbidden magic and solidify her place within a coven, or even become one of the feared Hagravens herself. It's also possible that she planned to rival them, especially given her collection of Hagraven feathers in her belongings. Once Anise is dead, her cabin can actually become a useful base for those looking for a remote starter home in Skyrim. The bed, previously marked as owned, becomes unowned, allowing you to sleep in it freely. However, be aware that the other items within the cabin, like the food and alchemical supplies, remain marked as owned. Taking them will still count as stealing, and your followers might comment on this. Interestingly, even entering the cellar is considered trespassing, though it has little impact on gameplay. Most followers will simply remark, "You're not supposed to be in here," but it won't trigger hostile reactions. Despite these minor inconveniences, Anise's cabin holds some serious advantages for early players. The cellar doesn't respawn, meaning all containers down there are safe for long-term storage. Additionally, the cupboard and dresser on the cabin's ground floor are also safe containers. However, the barrel and the apothecary's satchel are not, so any items placed there could be lost over time. With an arcane enchanter and an alchemy lab already set up, this makes the cabin a great fast travel destination for adventurers looking to practice magic or store items without fear of them disappearing. Anise's cabin is one of Skyrim's most subtle, yet fascinating mysteries. What appears to be a quiet, unremarkable hut in the woods quickly unravels into a tale of dark magic, secrecy, and deception. So the next time you find yourself wandering through Falkreath Hold, take a moment to visit her cabin, but tread carefully if you choose to explore the cellar. Thank you for joining me in unraveling this mystery. If you've had any strange encounters with Anise or theories about who she really is, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more deep dives into the hidden lore of the Elder Scrolls. Until next time, farewell, fellow adventurers.